What's up guys, welcome to Dabrutski. Today we're working on the Nissan 240 SX. The project I have going on today is I want to fix the power steering. I've been driving this car for over a year now the way it is without power steering, and I'm sick of it. I can't do it. It's such a small car, but the power steering is so necessary because it's so heavy to turn right now. If I'm reversing and I'm like going at it, I'm really pulling down, or even going straight, it feels so heavy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna start messing with it and see why the power steering doesn't work and see if we can fix it. So basically I pulled the car out halfway, half of it is out, half of it's in. The reason I left half of it in is because there's actual concrete where it's sitting right here on the engine, or underneath the engine. So if I need to pull out like the steering rack or something, I'm doing that on a smooth surface rather than doing it out there on a really hard asphalt surface. Basically, I'm gonna pop the hood, check it out and see what's going on. One thing that I've never done was I've never filled the car up with power steering fluid. It has everything there, all the lines, everything. I just never filled it up because the power steering rack leaked a little bit of fluid when I started putting it in, and I was like, you know, I'll just wait to fill it up. And it's been a year and a half now and I've never done it. So let's fill it up, see how bad it leaks. If it doesn't leak and it just fixes it, this is gonna be the easiest fix in history, but I doubt that's gonna be the case. Let's try this out. So now that we got the JDM hood prop holding up the Nissan's hood, just an old broom, basically we're looking at the engine now. So my power steering reservoir, I have it, it's kind of hidden underneath this air filter right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yank off this air filter, and I'm gonna take the fluid reservoir and kind of lift it up. I'm gonna put a drip pan underneath the motor, and I'm gonna fill it up with fluid. And the reason I'm gonna do that before I do anything else is if the power steering rack starts to leak right away, I'm not even gonna start the car because that's just gonna create a huge pressure system in the power steering rack and it's just gonna spew fluid everywhere. I don't want that. What the fuck? I was it the whole time. Well, that's pretty frustrating. It's good and frustrating at the same time. I filled it up with a little bit of power steering or automatic transmission fluid, not even enough. And the car has power steering now. Almost 2 years I drove this car without power steering because I thought the power steering lines were all busted out and stuff. There's no leaks and it works. Oh, it's exciting, but it's also very frustrating because I've been driving this car dying because I couldn't drive it because it was so hard to steer and it was just filling it up with fluid. I'm gonna run to the store, grab some power steering or some automatic transmission fluid, fill this up and drive it around the block. So the issue that I'm running into right now is that this power steering reservoir is kind of just dangling and doing its thing. I'm gonna get a couple pieces of metal and just self-tap it to the car and then self-tap it to that. Kind of keep it sturdy so it doesn't move. Let's get that and then let's fill it up the rest of the way. Basically, I cut this tiny little piece of, I think this is 1/2 inch by 1/16 inch, just stainless rod, whatever. I sanded up a little bit of the frame. I'm gonna tack this right here, or weld it into place, whatever you wanna do. And then basically, this is gonna get welded to it like that. I was gonna bolt it, but it doesn't matter, because if this does end up not working, I'm just gonna yank out all this and redo it. I drilled a little hole in the middle of the brake, or in the middle of the reservoir, so that way when this is on this side, I could throw a tack on the inside right here. So tack on the top, bottom, and in the middle, tack the bottom. That's gonna hold it right there. This is gonna work completely fine because the power steering reservoir doesn't actually need to move. It has the soft lines, or the rubber hoses, if you wanna call them that. And those kind of absorb all the movement of the engine, all the movement of the power steering fluid, all that stuff. So the reservoir being stationary like that is the most ideal way. It's gonna work. It's gonna work really, really nice. It's not gonna look the best, but by the time the air filter is back on there, you're not even gonna see it, so it doesn't matter. And I'm gonna have power steering, and I'm gonna have this car functional. This is pretty insane. I'm beyond happy right now. I put a little bit of the Lucas oil in their treatment just to like let it kind of work its magic. The stuff is super thick. It's like honey. So I'm gonna just let it run and kind of do its thing and kind of warm up so it becomes a little more viscous so it can kind of get through all the seals and stuff. I'm not gonna close up the cap because it is slowly going down. It is taking more, which is good. So I'll just keep my eyes on it. Let me show you something really quick. This is insane. So here's the inside of the car, right? One finger. So it is a little jerky in some areas, but I think that's just the fluid going through. So a while ago, if you watch the older videos, you can see Keith and I driving around tuning the car and how I was like fighting to turn the car. And now it turns like it's like nothing. I'm seriously so excited. Now that the power steering is done for now, basically got that all welded up and it's working. I just drove the car around the block and it's a different car. Like I'm driving it and it doesn't feel like I'm driving the 240. It doesn't feel so jerky. It doesn't feel like it's pulling me all over the road. It feels like a attainable car where I can just drive it. It's like, it's amazing. I absolutely love it. Made a pretty big mess in the shop, kind of like with the welder and just all this stuff laying around. And yeah, I kind of just want to clean it all up. All right, so it's the next day. Basically, yesterday, what we had finished was getting the power steering working, which is freaking awesome. I welded up that little bracket. I'll actually show it to you a little more in depth right now. Basically now we're gonna pull it out and I'm gonna scrape all the windows off with a razor blade or with some denatured alcohol to get the excess spray paint that got like oversprayed onto the car and kind of just maybe even like give it a little bit of a detail because the car is really dirty and like the wheels are all gross and stuff. I initially was gonna work on my WRX today, but we're just gonna focus on this 240 for now. I kind of wanna, I don't know, I'm still contemplating ripping that wrap off, so we'll see what happens. One thing we did do is completely off subject is we painted up this desk that we were working on yesterday. It looks so good. It looks amazing. This like, I don't know what you'd call this, Tiffany blue or whatever. Did end up finishing all the bodywork up top. There's a little bit of filler. Basically that'll get primed right now and painted as well and then clear coated. It looks so good. I know it's like totally off subject with cars and stuff, but we're constantly doing DIY projects, whether it's like chairs, desks, anything. I mean, pretty soon this 240 is gonna come into play. That's I bought that for my brother. Well, actually, he bought it, I bought it, I don't know. I got the car, he paid for the car. So that's how that goes. And we got this, so that'll be on the channel soon enough. That's gonna be a, I don't know if he's gonna keep it on the street. I don't know. It's gonna be a full drift car. I don't know what his plans are with it. All right, so I got the car outside and then I'm looking right here. I got really scared at first when I drove out because I saw all this like fluid on the ground. That's all water. The only fluid that I actually see is right here. This is like, here's a lens cap. It's very minimal. It's probably like 10 drops total onto both. I don't know if that's from it dripping from when I over poured it yesterday or from the steering rack. It kind of looks like it's in the middle of the car, so it probably is the steering rack. Not a huge deal. If that's all it's dripping and it's just from the steering rack, that means the pump is good and all the lines are good. It's easy. Power steering worked beautifully as I pulled it out of the shop. Man, I couldn't be happier. Let's take a look at this little bracket that I built. So I did get a little bit of overspray on the coil pack thing, but that's totally all right. Here's the bracket right there. You can see where I welded a little hole. I should probably put some more paint on this, scuff it down and spray it. But that's done. All right, so basically now that we got this little desk done, looks really good, nice and blue. I need to fix the 240 because I'm gonna start daily driving. Well, not daily driving this. I'm just gonna drive it home today and then kind of drive it around a little bit. Kind of just get the feel for it because I haven't driven it in a while. One thing that really sucks is I locked my keys in the car once and I was kind of messing with it, and now this little lock mechanism right here doesn't actually work with the key anymore. It kind of just like spins around. The little rod on the inside popped off. So I'm gonna pull this door panel apart and fix that rod right now. So basically, to get a door panel off, you need a couple essential tools. I always just use a flathead, a Phillips, trim remover, and a zip tie. And you're probably wondering, what do you need the zip tie for? Well, on these like older style cars that have these whatever roll windows, whatever you want to call them, they have a little clip that actually holds the little nozzle thing to it. So what I do is I get a little zip tie, put it behind, kind of see where the little clip is, push down, a little clip. It's that easy. Nothing gets damaged. It's pretty easy. I can use a piece of string as well. I don't know, I kind of like the zip tie because it's sturdy. All right, that easy. Well, I found the issue. I have my light set up in there. If you look right, see if I can get you guys zoomed in enough and see it right there. That's the door lock cylinder, and there's the plastic piece. So basically all I need to do is run my hand up in here like so. Let's see if I can get this on camera. Kind of push this plastic piece out of the way. Slam this metal piece in. Wow, this is really hard one-handed, I'm not gonna lie. All right, we're all put back together. Let's close this door, see if we fix it. Sweet. Well, that was easy. Now it's just putting it all back together. I'm gonna do the car wash and wash this and really scrub the wheels, get them clean, get underneath everything nice and good. So even if it does continue raining, at least it's not just collecting more dirt. It'll be clean and then it'll get dirty again, and I can clean it again. Because it's a lot easier to clean something that's a little dirty than something that's super nasty and grimy. Other than that, yeah, everything turned out awesome. All of the overspray came off the windows. As you can see, the windows look absolutely mint. So yeah, that's great. Let's go, let's wash this. Car's clean. Looks really nice. Windows are all cleared off. The wheels look absolutely fantastic. Super clean. All the paint is really clean. Wing looks good. Man, that thing looks so good. Check out the front. I'm just still like in shock how nice this car looks all the time. That's gonna be a wrap on this video. Thanks for watching. I know it wasn't like a huge thing, building and stuff, but I mean, it's just the little things, you know, power steering, cleaning the car. It's the little things that are like the most satisfying sometimes, because it's just like stuff that you've been putting off for so long, and then you do it, and then you're just like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier? You know what I mean? Looks good. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.